Commander Zixtal's 3 eye stalks drooped in what could only be described as exasperation. The Calthrine officer had served in the Galactic Coalition Navy for 200 cycles, had survived 17 conflicts, and had commanded vessels through 3 different star systems. Nothing in that extensive career had prepared him for working with humans. "Let me understand this correctly," Zixtal said, his translator struggling with the rising pitch of his native clicking. "I asked you to improvise a weapon. Singular. 1 weapon." Roma stood in the cargo bay with his arms crossed, a wide grin on his face. Behind him, Anna was still welding something that sparked and hissed. The bay looked like a workshop had exploded and then reorganized itself into something terrifyingly efficient. "You did, sir," Roma confirmed cheerfully. "Then perhaps you can explain to me why my cargo bay now contains—" Zixtal consulted his data pad, his primary eye stalk twitching. 43 distinct weapons, 12 traps, 6 explosive devices, and what my sensors are calling a tactical assault platform made from spare parts. Anna shut off the welding torch and flipped up her visor. 44 weapons, sir. I just finished the railgun." "The what?" "Railgun," she repeated, patting the jury-rigged contraption affectionately. "Used the ship's power couplings, some conduit, and the magnetic seals from the backup airlock. Should punch through Vrexian armor like tissue paper." Zixtal's middle eye stalk swiveled to look at the device. It was constructed from what appeared to be entirely scavenged parts, held together with what humans called duct tape, and what seemed to be pure audacity. His scanner confirmed it would, indeed, punch through Vrexian armor. It might also punch through the hull, 3 Vrexian ships, and possibly a small moon. "We are currently trapped in a disabled scout ship," Zixtal said slowly, "surrounded by a Vrexian patrol fleet. Our distress beacon is damaged. I asked you to prepare something, anything we could use to defend ourselves when they inevitably board us. I expected perhaps a sharpened pipe, maybe 2. "You weren't specific," Roma pointed out reasonably. He walked over to a rack that hadn't existed 4 hours ago. "See, we've got close-quarters stuff here. Shock batons made from the environmental controls, a few decent clubs from the structural supports, and these beauties." He held up what looked like a grenade. "Flashbangs. Used the emergency flares and some spare chemicals from the medical bay." "You raided the medical bay?" "Just the non-essential stuff," Anna interjected. Although Roma did take the anesthetic gas. "For the trap system," Roma explained. "Corridors 7 through 12 are now equipped with remote-release knockout gas. The Vrexians will be taking naps before they even see us." Zixtal felt a headache forming between his eye stalks. Calthrine didn't normally get headaches. "What else?" Anna brightened. "Oh, want to see the flamethrower?" "No." "It's really cool. Use the coolant system and—" "No." Roma picked up a tablet, scrolling through what appeared to be a detailed inventory. "We've also got ranged options. The railgun, obviously. Plus 3 different types of projectile launchers using compressed air from the life support backup. Then there's melee, various blades, clubs, and I got creative with some of the kitchen equipment." "My kitchen?" Zixtal's voice rose to a squeak. "They had really good knives," Anna said apologetically. "But we left you 2, and a spoon." "How generous." "We also implemented a defensive strategy," Roma continued, warming to his subject. He pulled up a holographic display of the ship. "See, we've divided the vessel into kill zones. Each corridor has overlapping fields of fire. The trapped sections will funnel them into predetermined ambush points, and we've set up fallback positions with pre-positioned weapons caches." "Weapons caches," Zixtal repeated flatly. "Well, yeah. Can't carry 44 weapons at once." Roma looked at him like this should be obvious. "So we've hidden them throughout the ship. Every 3rd panel has something behind it, guns, explosives, or at minimum a really heavy wrench." Anna nodded enthusiastically. Plus, we've rigged the gravity generators. We can drop it to 0 in sections, which should really mess with the Vrexians. They hate low-G combat. And you know this how? Read it in the tactical database while we were building the crossbow. The crossbow? Roma patted something that looked disturbingly medieval, yet somehow incorporated fusion cell technology. Silent, reusable, and the bolts are explosive. Well, some of them. Others are just really pointy. Zixtal realized his beak was hanging open. He closed it with a click. You did all of this in 4 hours? 4.5, Anna corrected. Could have done more, but we ran out of duct tape. That's what limited you? Not common sense? Not regulations? Not the fact that you've turned my scout ship into a floating death trap? Is it still a trap if we're inside it? Roma wondered aloud. Before Zixtal could formulate a response, or possibly just collapse, the proximity alarm blared. The Vrexians were beginning their boarding approach. Anna and Roma exchanged glances and smiled. They moved with practiced efficiency, each grabbing an armful of weapons. Anna slung the railgun over her shoulder, pocketed several grenades, and grabbed what appeared to be an electrified sword. Roma loaded himself down with various projectile weapons and casually activated the corridor traps with his datapad. "Commander," Roma said, tossing him something. Zixtal caught it reflexively. It was a pulse pistol, modified and improved beyond factory specifications. "You might want to get to the bridge. We've rigged the internal sensors so you can watch." "Watch?" "The Vrexians," Anna said cheerfully, checking her grenades. "This is going to be fun." As the two humans headed toward their predetermined positions, weapons bristling from every available attachment point, Zixtal finally understood something his predecessor had told him before retiring early. "Never ask a human to improvise," the old commander had said, eye stalks trembling with remembered trauma. "They don't know when to stop." Zixtal had thought it was an exaggeration. The first Vrexian boarding pod breached the hull. Somewhere in the ship, a trap activated. An explosion echoed through the corridors, followed by Anna's whoop of joy and the distinctive thunk of the crossbow. Zixtal settled into his command chair and pulled up the internal cameras. Perhaps, he reflected, as he watched 10 armored Vrexian soldiers flee in terror from 2 grinning humans and their absurd arsenal, there were worse problems than having crew members who didn't know when to stop. He made a mental note to requisition more duct tape.